which would be the beta version of Infamous 2. It's not the official beta, it's just the what I consider would be the beta version. Welcome to part 2, guys. I had to cut the video right there because my camera ran out of space on me. I was just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden I was like, oh no, no memory. So, oh my god, this is part 2. We were talking, yes. Alright, I have a trailer. I'll probably have to re-download it because I can't remember where I put it on my computer because my computer is a mess. It's organized, just can't find anything. But anyway, this trailer shows some of the early production of Infamous 2. As you know, the initial, like the very first original #1 beta of Infamous 2, not when I say beta, I don't mean publicly released beta, because there was a beta version. I do not mean that. I mean what I consider to be the beta version of Infamous 2. The very first official game testing beta of Infamous 2, I know I keep saying that again, over and over again, was the version where Cole had a black shirt, you know, he had hair, he had black hair, you know, that you've all seen that trailer. Then there was a second beta released after that, and they gave Cole the look he has now. He had the yellow shirt, the pants, you know, all this stuff. They gave him a modern look, but kept some of the similarities you see in Infamous 1. I'll put the trailer up right now so you can see. I'll pause the game for you. I'll put the trailer up right now. And, you know, it shows Cole, when he does his, I mean, this is just kind of minor details. When he uses his static thrusters, you know, there's the electricity going clear up his arm, not just on his hands like there is now. See, like now, there's just electricity around his hands. But in this beta version, there was, you know, it was exactly like Infamous 1. The electricity would go clear up his arms up to his shoulders. And I know that's not a big deal. Oh my god. I'm totally not going to die again. You know, it's not a big thing, but it's something that keeps the games together in a similar way. So you can tell it is actually the sequel. Something else, when Cole uses the induction grind power, when he, you know, grinds on rails and that kind of stuff, when he rides on electricity wires, his arms light up. They become electrified, just like in Infamous 1. What does this mean? It means that Cole, in this beta version, the second beta, before it was officially released, this was actually the playable version at E3. But the E3 beta, that's what we'll call this one, the E3 beta, Cole still had the power regeneration ability, which means that when you, just like in Infamous 1, when you ride on electric wires or train tracks, you will regenerate electricity. They kept this power until, of course, as you can see now on the screen, they done away with it. Because when you grind on induction wires and train tracks, only Cole's hands light up. His arms don't light up to his shoulders, they don't become electrified, so they did away with that power. Which kind of irks me, and yes, that is a word. It means upsets or aggravates. My mom uses that a lot. You can actually turn while you are doing the static thrusters, while you're using your static thrusters. Just a lot of things. The bolts that Cole fires are very similar to Infamous 1. The grenades, almost identical. The shockwave or the blast power, exactly identical to Infamous 1. Even the rockets, just about the same. I don't know if it shows rockets in the trailer. It might show it in the original beta. But I think that is the Infamous 2 they should have stuck with. They should have. I honestly think that would have been the good game we are looking for today in these videos. They should have stuck with that. with the original E3 beta, and that would have been a great game, because you would have held similarities between Infamous 1 and Infamous 2. Moving on to the next topic at hand, is your powers. Power custom... Now let's see if I can pronounce this right. I have not been able to pronounce words correctly all day. Customization. Power customization. There we go. Whew! I know most of you are going to be like, why are you struggling over that? Everybody knows how to pronounce customization. Well, you know, like I said, haven't been able to talk all day. So, moving on. I think, if you guys remember Infamous 1, when you went into your powers menu, you started out with just a plain old, what I call the bolt. You know, the bolt of electricity. You know, R1, you know, just your normal bolt. Then, as you went along in the game, and as you progressed and you got to a higher karma level, you were able to upgrade that original bolt. So, once you got to the Guardian level, so like, you started out as Guardian, right? You have just a regular bolt that you fire, just like this, so like a regular bolt. And it does good. It does good defeating enemies for a while. Once you reach the champion rank, you're able to upgrade that bolt so it has more, it adds a power to it. You don't get a different bolt. So let's use this as an example. Infamous 2, you start out with the Alpha Bolt, if we can find it. You start out with the Alpha Bolt. Then, as you progress through the game, what's the next one you unlock? It's the Pincer Bolt. Like this. It's a completely different power. What I think we should do for Infamous 3, we should do what we did with Infamous 1. We should go back to that upgrading ability. We should stick with your first bolt, and instead of gaining a new one and saving your original power, be able to upgrade that original one so it has an added power to it, and then be able to subtract or add what you want. So the powers menu. Right now, if you go into your powers menu on Infamous 2, you have bolts, then you can select which bolt you want. I think we should switch up the power menu a little bit so that when you go in here, you have your bolts, and then you go in here, and this where you select what bolt it is. In Infamous 3, when you go into this menu, this lets you add and subtract certain abilities from your original bolt. So instead of saying I want the Alpha Bolt, or I want the Pincer Bolt, or I want the Magnum Bolt, this out here on the outside, this is your bolt power. That's it. Then you go in here and you can say, well, do I want it just to shoot normal, or do I want to add the ability for it to shoot like a Pincer Bolt? Do I want to add the ability for it to shoot like a Magnum Bolt? These will all be abilities within your bolt power that you can add and subtract, instead of having to have a different power for each one. Same thing goes for your blast powers. This is going to be your shockwave. Once you go in here, you can stick with your original one. You can add the ability to make it narrow like a sniper blast. You can add the ability to make it like a shatter blast. These are just examples. You know, you can have the lightning hook. These are abilities that you can add to that power instead of having it be a completely different kind of that power, if you get what I'm trying to say. Same thing goes for grenades. You know, instead of having your original grenade and then your stalker grenade and then your original grenade that sticks, you should be able, this out here on the left where you select what power it is, this should be your grenades and all your power. So your bolts, your shockwave, your grenades, your rockets, these are just one power that you have. Once you go into this menu on the right where you can select what type, instead of this that I'm scrolling up and down right now, instead of this being different kinds of grenades or blasts or bolts or rockets or whatever it may be, instead of that being a different power, these will be abilities you can add and subtract to the main power, which is the grenade. So do you want your grenade to stick? Or do you want your grenade to follow your enemy? Or do you want it to freeze the enemy? These will be abilities instead of completely different grenades in total. Or, you know, whatever power it may be. Bolts, shockwaves, blasts. Same thing with R2. You can just change what ability it is, instead of having to go in and get a completely different power. I may have lost some people. I might have confused a few of you in that process. I probably did. I'll try to explain it the best I can in the comments if you're confused at this part. I'm probably going to have to go to part 3 because my camera once again is running out. So this may be a 3 or 4, at longest 5-part video. Longest update I've ever had. I think I'm going to pause the video right now. We're going to go on to part 3. That's where I'm going to talk about character customization and a whole bunch of other stuff I have in my mind. We're going to see what I can come up with. I'm going to try to make this, a big update. I don't know why I decided to do this today. I just got bored and needed something to talk about. So we're going to go on to part 3 and come back. See ya.